someone was to take a picture and accidentally include a painting or a building in the background, then it's not deemed as infringement. And also time shifting with the development of like camcorders and stuff, people are now able to record something for the purposes of watching it at a later stage. So this is also, as long as it's for non-commercial purposes, is allowed. And finally, another important exception has been for public interest. This is where the CDPA says that nothing in the Act can prevent or restrict the publishing of material if it's for the use of the public's interests. And with the example case of Hyde Park residents, Yellen. Okay, so moving on. So those exceptions generally benefit or protect the individual user, educational establishments, libraries and archives, as well as benefiting people with disabilities for the use of work which is copyrighted. Although these rights have been increased to give users more protection, the GARA review, which was a body made up to examine UK copyright law, led by Andrew Gowers in 2005, concluded that UK's intellectual property system is fundamentally strong, but there is room for improvements. So he's proposed reform to copyright exceptions, so it's more flexible by introducing legislation to extend the exception for research and private study to include all media, to amplify the library exception applicable to the archiving of material, and expand the scope of educational exceptions to include virtual learning environments. Thanks. I should pass you on to Ed, and he shall conclude our presentation.
So over the last decade, the lawmakers as well as the courts have had to develop a balancing act of the interests of both copyright owners as well as the users. From the perspective of the copyright owners, primary and secondary infringement laws have set out activities which will be considered to be abusing the rights of the copyright owner, while international collaboration has led to the implementation of laws such as the Berne Convention and the Poor Man's Copyright. These international legal frameworks illustrate that as well as local and national efforts to protect creatives and inspire them to continue to create, there isn't an international effort and mutual recognition that the interests of copyright users and owners must be protected.
So thank you for listening to our presentations, and we welcome any questions.
Anyone got any questions?
Nope.
Yes.
What is primary and secondary infringement? Are there any other types?
Well, primary infringement, that's basically doing any of the exclusive rights given to the owner. And secondary infringement is where basically primary infringement is facilitated through someone else. Yeah.
By someone else?
Yeah.
So, can you give an example?
So of which, primary or secondary?
Secondary.
Okay. Well, you have the case of 20th Century Fox versus BT. Basically, BT were allowing a company called Newsbin to allow internet users to access a site called Usenet, which basically had file sharing things. So basically, an injunction was granted to BT to stop them from allowing Newsbin to use the servers.
So because they were like allowing them to use the service, they were
that was secondary infringement, and Newsbin were committing the primary infringement because they were.
Are there any other types?
Infringement, not that, no.
Okay, thank you.
You mentioned temporary temporary copies? Do you have an example of when they would be non-economically significant?
Temporary copies.
Yeah.
Sorry, so what was the question?
Are there any examples of temporary copies that are not economically significant?
Are there any examples of temporary copies that have not?
No economic significance. You said that usually that's when they're permitted.
Right. Usually, okay, I can't give you a case example, but it's permitted in the sense for transferring data across networks. So you can make a temporary copy simply to move a file or a system or a piece of software from one end of the network to the other. So in that sense, you're not going to make money from it. There's no economic value in that.
Anyone else?
What were the facts in the Hyde Park and Herald case?
Right, right, that high part, let me just go back to that. I think there was two elements to that. Yeah, so this is to do with Princess Diana's death, and earlier it had come up that some additional information had come up, and under reporting current events, the information was, although it was a year after her death, it was still deemed to be reporting current events because headlines and articles and people were still talking about her death, so it was still quite a big part of the media. Then later, Jacob J, he had some more information on that he wanted to bring forward on the public interest approach, through the public interest approach. So he found out information about the amount of time Princess Diana and Alfred were spending together in Windsor Castle in Paris, and wanted to bring that forward, but actually it went through, the Court of Appeal. It was overturned by the Court of Appeal, and they held that there wasn't actually public interest because the information was not part of copyright, rather than, so it wasn't a case of ownership of the work, and therefore couldn't be under fair dealings. So the information wasn't good. I don't know how to explain it. Basically, the courts held that there was no public interest separate from public policy. The circumstances in which copyright would not be enforced must derive from the work itself, and the information wasn't actually a work in itself, so the courts didn't accept that as in public interest.
Anyone else?
Yeah, with reference to braille, would it be considered infringement or an exception if I were to reproduce a work in braille so that blind people could access that same information?
No, that would be an exception. That would be an exception because under the Information Society Directive, we have provisions for disability. So anyone who is copying work for the purposes of a disability, like I'm saying, braille, say if they can't hear, to transfer that into a medium that they can absorb the information, then that's acceptable. An exception, yeah.
No. I have one more question. It pertains to the balancing of costs and incentive for creators, copyright. Basically, what's the significance
Of
balancing the cost and incentives for copyright?
Well, obviously it's still within the public interest to make sure that creative art producing works, that people can benefit from, but at the same time they can still get monetary compensation for their works. So you need to provide a reason why creatives or copyright owners are still going to be creating the content. I mean, they also need to get remunerated for that. But at the same time, for example, academics that need works for their studies, they will still need to benefit from that goal. So it's important that both parties are getting looked after this.
Anyone else from the audience? Melanie?
Your question was about the balance between author and users, and from your presentation, it seems that you try to prove that the authors have good level of protection. But in, for example, music industry, a lot of studios, they take pretty much all the money made by the artists because they buy copyrights of them and they users. So don't you think that's not good for the artists in terms of the recording or the studios take basically all the profits from them? Don't you think
That's
that's enough level of protection?
not entirely true, because obviously the way the music industry works, obviously the recording artist, it's a business relationship. So the record label provide the financing. In exchange for that, they get ownership of the copyright, where the artists make their money off the royalties and live shows, sort of the records. So basically what I'm trying to say is, even though the music label or the businesses, yes, they take the copyright from the artist, but it's that's because they're providing the finance. The artist still will make their money through other revenue streams.
But that depends only on their bargaining power, because the licenses that they cannot perform. If the license say that they can't perform, then they ain't gonna make any money from performing.
All the
Because,
licenses they don't perform.
well, that's on bargaining power, and obviously, if you're a small artist, you cannot get a good contract with the big studio.
So that's a bit subjective. It depends on the way you negotiate, depends on your music lawyer, your contract, so.
But is that, if others have finished asking any other questions?